Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Levinson and Associates webinar training series. We have a great presentation today by one of our core carriers. I think everyone is going to walk away with some nuggets of information. It's our goal, as you know, on the Bill Levinson Experience podcast, on our live training webinars, which is what you're on right now, that you walk away with some new strategies, product knowledge, underwriting knowledge that you can use in your everyday practice to start making some more sales and talking to more people, right? Especially during this pandemic that we're all experiencing right now. So you need a very high-rated carrier, right? We know how that, especially during this time, we know how that fits in. Number one. Number two, great technology with an e-application. Number three, competitive products, right, that aren't just another Me Too product on the shelf, term and UL. And you also need some unique strategies and some great underwriting, right, to make sure that you can get your message out and start to create your own prospects, leads, and go back to even your existing book of business. So we're going to talk about some real neat stuff today. We have two great presenters from Symetra. They're A+ rated. In fact, Dan's going to talk a little more about this, but they are in the top 3 as far as the largest insurance carriers in the U.S. So a lot of people know Symetra, have used Symetra, and there's a lot of agents that have not. So we are going to dive right in today. And again, I want to make sure everyone's comfortable. If you are already appointed, let's say through another IMO, and you want to utilize the Levinson resources and move over to us, as you know, we match or most of the time beat your existing commission grid, okay, and you get free leads for your contracting with your first application or cash for contracting. So you get, starting at just, starting at one app, you get $100, and then of course 2 and 3 apps, it goes up from there. So it's your choice, cash or free leads with your Symetra contracting. We're going to send out a thank you email to everyone that's on the call today. We'll include a lot of this information that we're going to touch on in a few minutes, and we're also going to include contracting. If you do not get our thank you email, that means our email is probably in your junk folder or spam folder. And if it's not in your junk folder and you did not receive it, that means we have your incorrect email address. Please call us and we will get that straightened out, but that's a problem, okay? Especially once you start submitting cases, you need to make sure you're getting your weekly case status email. So very important stuff. Okay, so like I said, we're going to talk about a few niche markets, some great niche underwriting, an awesome IUL program that we're going to shed some light on, non-med, term, and perm to $2 million, which is amazing. We're also going to give away, at the end of today's presentation, a free gift card, Amazon gift card, or your choice of the Fire tablet, the new Amazon Fire tablet. You get to pick. We're going to ask a question that has to do with the slides we're going over today. So you have to make sure you're paying attention and write down your notes, okay? Most important, because if you're first and obviously correct to answer at the end, we announce your name and you win your choice of the gift card or the Fire tablet. That's simple, okay? So moving forward, I want your eyes glued to the screen, pen and paper ready, or your notes app on your smartphone, whatever it is. But I want to make sure that you gather and soak in everything we're going over today, because it will help you, especially during this pandemic, because this is all great stuff you can talk about over the phone or on a GoToWebinar or Zoom meeting, whatever the case is. But you know this as well as we do. It's our job to go out and find these special niche programs, right, to give you a leg up on your competition, so you're all not out there marketing the same exact, term or GUL. You need something a little unique, especially, and think about this for a minute, if you're dealing with foreign nationals, okay, if you're in South Florida, right, think of Texas, California, Arizona, the clientele there, the opportunity to deal with foreign nationals that do business here in the States is endless. And some of those cases are monsters. So we're going to talk about the foreign national market. We're going to talk about some premium financing as well. In fact, we have Fabian on the call with us today, and that is his specialty. So you have one of the best on with us today. It's going to be great. Sit back, relax. Let's jump right in. Slide number 1. We're going over our COVID-19 folder, which includes all of the updates, changes, and most important, all of the non-med carriers and limits, okay, that you can sell right now today. Okay, we have a cheat sheet. This is on our website. We'll also include it in the thank you email, but scroll to the bottom in red. You will see Symetra. They're at the top, okay, up to 2 million e-app or paper. And I love, okay, think about this for a minute. Number 1, not everyone is out there selling Symetra, okay? Number 2, they're A+ rated with an IUL. In fact, Dan can attest to this. It is the fastest growing IUL in the industry today. So you're gonna have another great story to tell, and non-med up to 2 mil. Love that angle. Let's jump right in here, Andrew. So real quick, Andrew, back up. Well, there we go. Perfect. Okay. This is one of my favorites for agents. When I have my agent hat on, right, I always think about underwriting, because we all know in some cases it's easy to make the sale, right? But you get the application, you know, the quote they love, application comes in, and then we have those underwriting issues that come up a lot, more than I want to talk about, right? So a lot of the times, unfortunately, it has to do with cancer. And what Symetra has that's very, very unique in our industry is most carriers, depending on the type of cancer, you're going to get no better than a standard health class. Symetra, depending on the exact circumstance of the client, they're going to start at preferred. So you have a possibility of a preferred non-tobacco rating with those cancer types at the bottom there. You'll see them outlined. In fact, we're going to include this in our thank you email, but just think about that for a minute. So 99% of the carriers are going to start at standard. As soon as they hear the C word, Symetra is going to start at preferred and then go down from there depending on the exact circumstance and situation with each prospect that comes in. So if you have a case, okay, that has, let's say the client has one of these types of cancer, okay, and it comes in and you shop it with us and with X-ray, we're going to probably send you 9 out of 10 times right through Symetra, because that's going to be your best chance to get that case placed. Okay, so that's a big niche. Jot that down. Let's jump right into today's feature presentation. I have 2 of our Symetra rock stars. We have Dan and Fabian joining us, and we're going to dive into some of the great bullets that Symetra has. Dan, you there?
Yes, I am here. Thank you, Bill.
Okay. Yep, thank you.
All right. Can you guys see that?
Yep, we can see it, Dan.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for having us, Bill and Andrew. We very much appreciate the opportunity today. We're going to share some very significant information that I feel right now there could not be a better time to be talking about these opportunities. Just for introduction purposes, I'm Dan OShea. I am the Southeast Regional Vice President for Symetra. I cover all the Southeast states. We very much appreciate the opportunity to partner with Levinson. They're an incredible office, obviously a marketing machine, which right now is what you need to choose in a GA. Because if you're a GA sitting back and doing nothing during the midst of all this chaos, opportunities are going to pass you by very swiftly. So it's exciting to be delivering this content with an office that gets that, and that is out there in the front with you on the front lines, helping to uncover rocks and uncover opportunities to grow your business. In addition to what I'm going to cover, I've got Fabian Gonzalez. Fabian Gonzalez is my partner at Symetra. He is the National VP of Multicultural Markets, which is a mouthful, but to tell you exactly what he does is he heads up our Foreign National Division. Fabian's been in the industry for over 25 years, and all of that time has been dedicated to growing the rapidly growing foreign national business. Prior to him joining Symetra, he led the division for Voya ING. So foreign national cases is his expertise. He came over to Symetra, basically took us from a carrier that was doing zero foreign national business to a carrier that did over $20 million last year in the course of 1 year. So that's incredible growth, and I think we're just on the infancy of the program. And what he's going to share with you are some things that are going to demonstrate our continued commitment to growing this market. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cover off. Let me just click here. I don't know what's going on here with the slides. For some reason that will not change. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. Okay, what I want to do cover is very briefly some of the niches that we've got at Symetra. Now, most people, when they hear the name Symetra, they'll have heard of it because we were a carrier that entered into the independent distribution space in 2012. And we made our footprint, if you will, by coming in with a big boom. And that was in the area of the guaranteed universal life space. And for those of you who have been doing business for a long time, you know that guaranteed universal life insurance has had some disruption, mainly due to the low interest rate environment. And in 2012, that's about when things started. And you've seen carriers basically having to increase the price on GUL, carriers who dominated the market previously, maybe carriers like Lincoln, John Hancock, they had to increase the price on GUL mainly because of the AXXX legislation that was passed, or the actuarial guidelines that changed, which simply said, hey, for this guaranteed business that you sold in the past when interest rates were high, we believe that the actuarial guidelines need to change. And we believe that some of that business is under reserved. So therefore, those carriers had to put up additional capital on their GUL business. So what it did is carriers who led the market in GUL, who sold it in the high interest rate environment, got hit with this unanticipated reserve requirement on GUL, and it increased them having to increase their price. Symetra was a carrier when we entered into the distribution space on independent distribution. We were able to price the #1 price GUL on the market, mainly because we had no guarantee UL on our books in 2012. So we were able to enter into the space in the midst of carriers having to exit out of it because they had so much on their books and couldn't afford to even sell any more going forward because they're trying to manage the profitability on those in-force blocks. So you've seen carrier like Symetra go from a carrier that when we started in 2012, we were doing about $5 million of independent distribution business. Last year, we finished at over $100 million because we're able to deliver the pricing on product that other carriers are challenged to do so. And our first launch into that market was with the GUL product. We still have GUL. We still maintain a space on the GUL that is very unique. On the full pay to age 120 is where we focus that product. In addition to that, since we launched in 2012, Symetra had been acquired because we were growing so rapidly in sales. We were acquired by the company called Sumitomo of Japan. Now, Sumitomo is a 100-year-old company. They're the second largest market. They're the second largest life insurance company in Japan. Japan is the second largest market of life insurance in the world to the US. They have a 100-year history. They have over 330 billion in assets. 330 billion in assets. We were acquired by them in 2016. So people always ask is, hey, how big is Symetra now that Sumitomo owns them? Well, if you took the top 5 US publicly traded companies and you laid them down, And you know who those top 5 companies are. If you looked at the top 5 U.S. publicly traded life insurance companies, and you said, where is Sumitomo's size and scale in comparison to those top 5? We would be number 3. So no longer is Symetra a small company. Since we were bought by Sumitomo, we're bigger than most of the household names that you have been selling for years, such as Lincoln, such as carriers like AXA, Principal. So the financial strength of Sumitomo has basically taken Symetra and basically accelerated its growth. Now with that growth, Sumitomo wants to grow out the portfolio, and we introduced over the last year or two a full portfolio of IUL products. Now, what's great when it comes to our IUL portfolio, whether it be a death benefit focused sale using a protection product that's focused on giving you secondary no lapse guarantees, or an accumulation sale, which is focused on that minimum non-MEC base, saying how do we grow cash inside an IUL and utilize it to supplement retirement. Either of those bookends, if you look at a Symetra product and you are comparing the competitiveness in those given markets, we will be in the top 3 in performance in both those scenarios. So whether you want a low price protection IUL that's going to give you guaranteed death benefit focused on age 90 life expectancy or age 90, Symetra is going to bring you a product that has the #1 low-level premium on a IUL chassis for protection sales. And if you want a product that's going to design to build cash value, or you're utilizing it in the terms of premium finance, and you want a product that's just going to be a cash cow on a low-cost chassis, Symetra's accumulator IUL is going to outperform most of the IULs that you see in the market. And when I say most, that's probably 98, 99% of all other IULs. Now, the beauty of it, because we are focused on growing independent distribution, we're going to pay you rich targets too. And that's something to just keep your eyes on. Great performance, great targets. And you don't always see that when companies introduce products. We also introduced, as of late, a revised pricing on our term. Before we dabbled in term, now it's a major strategic option for us to grow this year. And as a result, we intentionally wanted a price to dominate the market on face amounts over $1.5 million. So real simple story, when you think about Symetra term, you should be thinking about Symetra is going to be there all the time in the front of the pack on face amounts above $1.5 million. Now, price is a commodity, obviously. There are some unique things about our term that I like to talk about. Number one, it's convertible. The price is there in that #1, #2 spot on whether you choose our 10, 15, 20, or 30-year level term, but it's also convertible to any one of our permanent products, whether you choose our ULG, Guaranteed Universal Life, our Protection IUL, or our Accumulation IUL. You can convert that term in the first 10 years or to age 70. Now, what's unique about our term, especially in the environment that we're in right now, I'm going to share an example with you. All of our permanent products, all of them, if you get standard or better on the life insurance underwriting, you're automatically embedded inside that permanent product a chronic illness rider. And the way that it works is there's no additional questions. You simply, if you got standard on the permanent product underwriting, you have an embedded rider called the baseline chronic illness rider that allows you to accelerate that death benefit when 2 out of 6 ADLs are impaired. And the way that it works is unique to the industry. It allows you to basically accelerate up to 50% of the death benefit up to a $500,000 withdrawal. So if I had a $1 million death benefit, 2 out of 6 ADLs get impaired, I can take up to $500,000 in a lump sum or over 10 years with that embedded rider. And like I said, it's included. On top of that, you can add a pay-for rider that will allow you to take 2% of the face amount up to the per diem. So you have more optionality on chronic illness riders than any other carrier when it comes to Symetra's permanent products. Now, when you sold, let me use an example of a real life case that we just saw. It was a 55-year-old who bought term. They bought a 15-year level term, a 55-year-old from us. And after 5 years into it, they suffered a stroke. And they ended up being paralyzed on half of their body. So if you had a situation like that, we know that when that term client has a situation like that happen, you know they're going to hang on to that insurance, and more than likely they're going to convert it. So when they convert it to the Symetra product, to the permanent product, automatically built in, because they got standard on the term, automatically built into that new permanent product is a chronic illness rider, that now that customer can accelerate the death benefit in the event they were wanting to take it out to help aid in their chronic care. So think about that. Think about any other term company that does that. So if you've got standard or better on the term underwriting, when you go to convert it to a permanent product with Symetra, automatically embedded in there is a chronic illness rider. So that example of that individual that I just told you, now in the event that they want to convert it over to Symetra's permanent product, we know that they can get at that cash to help them with real life needs, which is more than likely their chronic care. So that's an important highlight to think about when you're thinking about Symetra. In addition to that, we have some other unique riders on our permanent. One is this charitable giving rider, which simply we've built in an additional 1% of death benefit beyond the base insured amount. So like if I had a $10 million death benefit that I either sold with the permanent product accumulator IUL, the protector IUL, or our guaranteed universal life, I bought a permanent product from Symetra for $10 million. On top of that $10 million is a built-in benefit called a charitable giving rider. Cost the client nothing. It leaves an additional 1%, in this case $100,000, to a charity of their choice. So that insured ended up getting an additional $100,000 benefit that can be earmarked to a true charity of choice, whether it be a church, a college, a hospital. But why that rider is unique is, again, it's how people use it. I've got a woman in Alabama who is a marketing machine. And what she does is she goes out and she talks to every college, religious organization, and not-for-profit in her area. And she says, let me do seminars for your parishioners and your membership. I'm going to talk about what I do, which is life insurance protection. And every time I sell something, every time I sell a policy, I'm going to make sure that I'm encouraging that policyholder, that insured, to leave that charitable giving benefit to your organization. And when you think about it, for those of you who have ever been on a not-for-profit, the hardest part of their job is raising funds for the organization. So if you've got an idea for a church, a college, or a not-for-profit that says, hey, I have a way where we can leave bequests for you by you just introducing me to some of your membership so that I can share what I do, the financial planning and life insurance planning, and I'll make sure that they know about this rider and that we make sure that the church is on it. Very unique way, again, of using the unique advantages of what Symetra has. No one else right now has that type rider. So let me go to the next slide. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about some other ideas here. And one of the ideas that I have out there right now is, how are we seeing this whole COVID-19 pandemic? You can look back and you could say this is a disruption, or we can say it's an opportunity. And I'm in the camp that this is a huge opportunity for life insurance planning. And no doubt the game has changed in the way that we have to interact with customers. But the question is, have you changed your game? The game has changed. Have you changed your game? What I'm going to share with you are some unique ways in which to utilize the power of the Symetra story right now to capture some of these opportunities. There is no newspaper, there's no news, there's no radio that you don't go by 30 seconds without hearing the word coronavirus. And as a result, it's forced people to see that we're not bulletproof, that the things are happening all around us, and in a screwed up sense, it's really pushed the urgency of making sure, number one, that you have enough protection for your loved ones as it pertains to life insurance. Number two, the insurance that you own are going to really hedge against the real life risks that coronavirus has actually brought up, and they're not just death. And number three, making sure that you have a plan to acquire it in the midst of some of the changes that have happened around us. Because what we've seen with some of this disruption is, particularly on the older age cases, they're not as easy to navigate through underwriting right now. So understanding the partners that you're working with, like Levinson, that see the landscape, they know the carriers that have pulled back in certain areas, is so important right now, because you can't just go to market on a case that you're trying to place with somebody who has maybe comorbidities, maybe some diabetes, maybe a little bit of high blood pressure. Bring it into underwriting without having an expert speaking with that underwriter on how to position that insured with a comorbidity. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're doing as it relates to harness some of that opportunity, because it's on people's mind. Again, it's disruption, but it's opportunity. And I'm going to give you a couple messages to message to your customers. So the first thing that we have seen, and Bill had briefly talked about the electronic, which I'll go into in a minute, but the first thing that we've seen is we are seeing multiple changes as a result of COVID-19 on the underwriting front. And mainly these are focused on over age 70 limitations. We've seen cases where, we've had limitations at over age 70 where you've got comorbidities going on. Foreign national, Symetra is a leader in this market, and we're maintaining our space in this market. But we've seen carriers totally exit for the interim on foreign national. So how do you make that an opportunity? Is to go out and make sure, because that customers know that we still have a program, there's still access to death benefit protection, where generally the message is out there right now in the high net worth space is that it's very difficult to place a foreign national. That's not the case, and Fabian's going to talk to you about that. We've seen in some cases auto bind limits get adjusted where carriers have pulled back what they can do. So this whole thing has gone, we've gone from a market for the last 25 years that has been so price driven now to how can you make it easy for me to get my insurance, and knowing that COVID-19 has created some obstacles. So that in itself is a message to you to message to customers. And if you think about the COVID-19, what has created, not only has it put risk to mortality, where people really need to be looking at the life insurance, but the people who have come down with COVID-19, most of those cases have resulted in respiratory issues that could lead to chronic illness issues. So although you might have protection in your life insurance policy that gives you death benefit protection, does your insurance protection allow you an avenue to get at the death benefit in the event that something were to happen where you were in need of care, whether it be chronic illness or long-term care. So messaging to customers right now, the importance of reviewing policies to make sure, number one, that they've got adequate coverage. Number two, that they have riders that allow them to accelerate the death benefit. And number three, making sure that they are buying it at a cost that is current and more cost effective maybe than what they were able to do in the past. So the other thing that we've done at Symetra, and sorry for the slide, I'm just looking at it right now, but we wanted to make it very easy to do business. We know that, you know, people are selling at a distance. In other words, not many people are going, you know, face to face right now. Whatever we're doing for marketing and whatever we're meeting with clients is typically being done at a distance. So what we did at Symetra is we basically took our new business process, turned it upside down, inside out, and we adjusted it to the new world. And the new world is we need to do everything from end to end. In other words, knowing that you as the advisor are more than likely going to be selling that consumer virtually. And if that consumer wants to engage and take an application, we know that you're not likely to be doing that in front of the customer. So from end to end, Symetra has built a Symetra accelerated underwriting program for permanent products only. And I'll talk about our program and why I'm so passionate about it right now. Number one, we can offer up to 2 million of any one of our permanent products, GUL, protection IUL, or accumulation IUL. Up to 2 million of coverage from ages 18 to 50. And if your age is 51 to 60, we can offer up to 1 million. The beauty of our program is we're not going to require a medical, we're not going to require labs, and we're not going to require an APS. So Dan, what do we require? Our program simply takes an MVR, motor vehicle report, and a prescription check. And we run it through an algorithm. And basically what we come back with is we say this client's scoring at a standard or better, and if it's scoring at a standard or better, they're issued. If you have a customer that, you know, applies to our accelerated underwriting program and say they're on 4 different medications, significant things, well, the underwriter's not going to kill that case and decline it. They're going to send you a note back saying, hey, it's not eligible to be issued through the accelerated underwriting program. We may need an additional APS. We might require an exam. But for the majority of the cases, and when I say majority, we've had this up about a month now, and I would say that 85 to 90% of the cases that we're receiving are getting issued in and out on this program. So remember, these are for clients that you feel are standard or better. And the process works as this. You simply can take the application virtually with a customer. We're okay with that. And we've actually removed from our application, did you witness this in front of the client? Because we're in a new world. You're not going to be sitting in front of the client. So you can check that no, and you can do the application right virtually over the phone, email it to the customer. The customer can either print that application, sign it, scan it back to you, or we can do e-signatures using DocuSign. And once that app is submitted up from Levinson, when you submit it into Levinson and that app is submitted up from Levinson New Business to Symetra, we take all of that electronically and we basically issue a policy, and we can send everything back to you electronically. So that on the delivery requirements, the client can do DocuSign and the case can be delivered all virtually. You don't ever have to meet the client end to end. And the beauty of this whole process is, which is so important, is you complete the Part 2 non-med. A call service center at Symetra is not completing it. And why do I believe that's the best? Is because you ask the question, not somebody in a call center who's asking your client those questions. So all you have to do as forms of the application is basically complete the full app, complete the Part 2 non-med, fill it out, scan it to your customer, they sign it or DocuSign it back to you, you submit it up to Levinson, we underwrite it, and we shoot everything back to you electronically. So $2 million on the permanent business without any labs, without any exam, without any APSs. And I don't know if we're going to take questions at the end on this, Bill, but should I stop there to see if there's any questions before we go into Fabian's? Or
Actually, we have a closed line because of the number of attendees, but we have a question box on the right-hand side. If anyone wants to type in questions or comments, we'll answer everything as we go, or we'll get Dan involved when we're done, and
Okay.
just shoot us an email or we'll reach out to you.
Okay. So let me go next into introducing Fabian. Like I said, one of the other opportunities with Symetra was when we entered into this whole huge opportunity world of the foreign national space. And, you know, unlike a company that says, I'm just going to go and build a product and hopefully I can find a market for, we went out and recruited in one of the best minds in the foreign national market. And if you go down to South Florida and you say the name Fabian Gonzalez, because I've done this, I've traveled with Fabian and my Terry tons of times, they know him. Fabian is from Argentina. He has been doing this over 25 years. He led Voya's and ING's growth into the foreign national market, and we were lucky enough to have him here at Symetra, and he's going to highlight what he has been able to put together here for Symetra and what an opportunity that is for you as it relates to the foreign national space. Fabian.
Excellent. Thank you, Dan, for this wonderful introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. And before I jump into this brief presentation, I want to go directly to the point and let you know that at Symetra, we are still doing high net worth foreign national cases. If you have a potential client, a foreign national, who's looking for life insurance, we are still accepting applications. We continue processing the application, and we're doing the underwriting of these cases. When we start seeing the situation with the coronavirus, we saw that a lot of companies that has been historically working in the high net worth foreign national for many years, they immediately stop or suspend immediately foreign national sale. But that is not the case with Symetra. So again, if you have a case, please give us a chance, because we live this market and we are with you right now in this very full challenging time. So this market is a fantastic market. I have the chance to be working in this market for many years and have significant potential, especially for professionals who have access to this wealthy individual. Most of the time, people see how big is this market. Well, you know, it's significant big. When you take a look, it's approximately 18 million of people around the globe that they are considered wealthy individuals. They mean that they have more than $1 million in investable assets, and all they together combine almost 70 trillion in wealth, and is projected to surpass the 100 trillion by 2025. So when we're looking at the segmentation, you are going to see that at the top of this pyramid, you can see that around 10% of the people are extremely wealthy. They have, you know, over 5 to 30 million or more in wealth. And most of the time, advisors make the mistake and they jump into this market because they see, you know, well, you know, someone who have this significant amount of money, they can pay a very high amount premium, or they maybe need a significant amount of life insurance. So most of the time, people ignore the bottom of the pyramid. What you can see is 90% of the total wealthy population. And those individuals has between $1 and $5 million. And these are the people that they are considering the millionaire next door. These are the people that they coming around, they come to the United States, they buy real estate in Florida, they buy real estate in Texas, they buy real estate in California, they like to send their kids to college and university. They have family members living, you know, for many, many years in the country. So this is actually the bone of this market. There's a significant amount of people, and actually close cases in this market, especially in the millionaire next door, is very easy. We, as an insurance company, we have a very small number of requirements, and also at the same time, the underwriting time takes very, very short time. Because when you work in the top of the market, most of the time, those wealthy, very wealthy individuals, they have multiple advisors. And sometimes when you're trying to close a case, maybe can be, I would say, almost 6 months, 7 months, a year that you need to work back and forth with the wealthy individual plus the advisor in order to get that case. And sometimes nothing happens. So again, as an advice, you want to jump into this market and you want to be successful, please focus on the bottom of 4. You have a chance to meet a very wealthy individual. We also are here to help you. So let's go to the next slide. And the next slide, you want to see basically the generic information about our program. In the next slide, you can see that Symetra has a very competitive underwriting program, okay? So I don't know, Dan, if you can move the next slide because we have a lot of great information. Excellent, thank you. So basically all our permanent products, all the IUL, the Dan Chance Play, or a guarantee universal life policy, all those permanent products are available for foreign national. And in order to qualify for the program, your client needs very small number of things. Number one, they need to have a passport and they need to have a US visa. So all those people that live outside the United States, in order to get into the United States, they need a passport and visa. Also, they need to have at least $2 million in worldwide network. That's another key component of this program, $2 million worldwide network. So that doesn't mean that your client needs to have money or significant amount of money in the United States. Most of our competitors require some significant amount of assets in the United States in order for that individual to qualify for the program. We also require a US connection. And our program is very flexible in terms of US connection. And you can see on the right on the slide, you have many options for US connection, but we need only one of this connection. And I want to make this very, very simple. If you have a client that at least has a bank account in the United States with $25,000, and that account was open at least a month before they apply for life insurance, your client qualifies for our program. This is a very simple qualification program. Also, we have another very easy qualification for US connection. If you have a client that has regular travel to the United States for business or pleasure, they may be coming to visit family, they may be coming here because they have business, they also qualify with travel, with regular travel to the United States for business and pleasure. And then other ones like having a family member, have a tax liability, own real estate, own a business. Again, very flexible in US connection, and you need only one in order to qualify for our program. The minimum face amount that we are selling is $1 million. We are very flexible also in terms of ownership. Some of the insurance companies, some of our competitors require US owner. That means that your client maybe need to establish a trust or create a LLC, and with that comes the option to own the policy. With Symetra, we allow direct ownership. We made this very easy for your client. You don't need to create a trust. You don't need to create an LLC. Your client that lives in Latin America, Europe, Asia, any part of the world, they can be the owner of the policy without having any entity as the owner of the policy. In terms of ages, we are also very flexible. Most of the countries are A or B. You know, the majority of the countries that we allow are A and B, and we allow more than 100 countries around the globe. So basically with us, countries between letters A and B, you can get preferred, super preferred ratings. If you have a client that lives in a C jurisdiction where there are not many jurisdictions, they are C, you know, your client can get at least standard rates. And in terms of aging, we go in A and B between 18 to 75, and for country C between 18 and 70. In terms of medical risk, we can go up to table D. And very important thing that we also have in our program is that we allow a limited power of attorney that can allow assign an attorney in fact, and that person can take the delivery of the policy on behalf of your client. You know that underwriting don't take 2 days, right? Between you package and presenting the case, you maybe have a few days there until you send to Symetra and we start processing the cases. Can be, you know, at least 3 or 4 weeks before we give you an offer. So your client, maybe he is not available to be in the United States all that time waiting for the Symetra offer. He maybe need to go back to their country. So with a limited power of attorney form, your client can assign an attorney in fact, and that person can receive the policy on behalf of your client, sign all the delivery requirements, send all that information back with Symetra, and then when we have the case in force, you get paid your commission. So an ordinary requirement, this is a very standard in the entire market. Everything needs to be conducted in the United States, the discussion of the product, the medical examination, and things like that. And just if you want to learn more about our program, you have this dedicated microsite, symetra.com/high network for national. You can get access to all of our resources. So now in the next two slides, I want to talk about something that is very exciting and very specific. There are new enhancements that we recently introduced to this market. While many of our competitors are exiting the market or are postponing cases or suspending high net worth foreign national sales, last month, June 8, we introduced two very important enhancements. One is coverage for juveniles. Okay, these are basically juveniles. Sometimes for whatever reason, people bring to the United States family, they get a baby here in the United States. Sometimes that family go back to their country for whatever reason. So basically, we can insure juveniles. We are the only company who actually allow juveniles that they are U.S. citizens residing outside the United States. So again, this is a very, very exciting news, and we are looking forward to explore how we can help you in this market. And probably the more important enhancement that we recently introduced is in the next slide. The next slide, you can see that basically Symetra start allowing premium financing. We are very, very excited about this, okay? This is a significant amount of business. In the past, most of the time, wealthy people, most of the time, they are looking for ways to get money out of the country, doing some asset reallocation in the United States, and that is one of the additional reasons why they buy life insurance in the United States. But with the recent changes and with the low market rates that you can get right now alone in the United States, some of the wealthy people are thinking about, hey, if I can finance the premium, I maybe can use that money that cost me the life insurance policy in another type of asset or in another type of investment. So basically, we introduced this option. It's available right now. So basically, premium finance requires that your client has at least a minimum net worth of $5 million and an annual income of at least $200,000. And it's a very, very simple. It's exactly the same like our domestic market. And we're looking forward basically to help you in this exciting market. So now I want to stop that. I think it is the last slide that I have in my presentation. Yep. And looking forward, if someone have questions, happy to take this question right now, or you have a question later, please let us know, and we are very happy to help you in this exciting opportunity.
Okay. Bill, do we have questions on the side here? Or?
What we'll do is we'll visit as soon as we wrap up the webinar, just because it's basically it's a closed line. So everyone can type in the questions as we go, and we're going to answer every one of them, and then we'll get you guys involved if needed after the call.
Perfect.
Okay. Anything else do you want to wrap up with, Dan?
No, I'm just going to wrap up with kind of three reasons maybe why you would want to think about Symetra. As Fabian demonstrated, and I want you to all kind of think of the last 5 or 10 years that you've been doing this business. Show me a carrier that is going north. What I mean is growing. Symetra is introducing new products, but also introducing new products that lead the market in price and value to your customers. That's number one. That's why you want to hitch your wagon to a carrier like us. Number two, we know we can put as much products on the street as possible, but if we can't underwrite it, we're going to go nowhere. We have hired the best underwriters in the industry. Our average underwriter has 15 to 20 years experience. They are used to the older age, tougher impairment type cases, high net worth. that we see with guarantee products and large premium cases. And that is something you definitely want to be aware of. The tools that our underwriters have right now in comparison to other carriers are unique. Bill talked about that one program that we have, which is our preferred cancer program. That's one tool. We also have a program called Good Life Rewards. And what Good Life Rewards allows us to do is take a table 3 risk and shave it to a standard by applying Good Life Rewards credits. Every underwriter uses that every day. And why that is important, again, I want you to look at carriers, and I'm not going to name them, but over the last year, we've seen carriers take away their table shave programs. And again, we're adding programs to grow business. Number 3, the other third reason is, we want to be a marketing partner with you. And we recognize that, what you're doing in terms of marketing to your end customer, you need to have a marketing story. The foreign national program is a unique niche that not every carrier can go around, nor does every carrier have a Fabian Gonzalez, who's a brand name in it. But he's one aspect of our offerings. We have unique sales ideas that you can market to customers around supplemental retirement plan sales, to legacy sales where we're showing life insurance as an asset class. And each of those sales ideas plugs in the value and the pricing of our product, which again is in that top 3 space. And I'll end this. Show me a carrier that has all of those things that is growing north, and on a trajectory that wants to grow and backed by a global company that is, pouring money and strategy into making Symetra even bigger and better than what it is today. So we hope we kind of whet your appetite to the company and the offerings, and we hope we can earn some of your business. And again, we appreciate Bill allowing us this opportunity to show our goods. Thank you.
Yep, no, that was great. Good stuff. And once again, just please send in your questions, comments. We're going to answer every single one of them. And if we need to get Dan and Fabian involved, no problem at all. We can circle them back in on a conference call if needed. Okay, we're going to move forward real quick. We're going to show you some resources we have on our website that have to do with Symetra and some of these great programs. We're going to move fast, so please pay attention, and then we'll ask our question of the day. Andrew, you there?
Yes, sir. Thanks, Bill. I want to quickly dive into the foreign national resources available on the Levinson & Associates back office. So when you log in, go to the Underwriting tab, click on Foreign Nationals, and you're going to see all different handouts from Symetra and all of our other carriers that work in the foreign national market. So if you have a case you're thinking about or working on, contact our marketing team, speak to us, we'll help you right away. Also, I want to dive into our premium finance resources. Symetra, of course, is a great carrier for that. So go to our website under the products tab. You'll see a premium finance section. We have a nice training video, and we have all these great handouts and fact finders for you to understand if your client is a good fit for premium finance. And if it is, contact us. We will get Symetra involved for your foreign national premium finance case. Also, we just launched brand new e-app and drop ticket trainings now available on the Levinson & Associates Training Center. So a lot of agents will call, and it's very overwhelming at times to utilize a lot of our tools and technology. So we wanted to make it very easy for you and show you exactly from A to Z how to quote, apply, and issue a drop ticket or e-application through the Levinson & Associates website. So I'm not going to spend any more time on it, but go to our training center today and check out these videos. They're well worth your time. Real quick, I'm going to go over our upcoming training events for the week. Of course, we have our agency automator. Definitely get involved if you're not already using it so you can target those foreign national clients doing e-blast marketing on our agency automator. Below, we have our legacy armor training every Wednesday at 2 p.m. And also, we have top indexed annuity plans and agent perks coming up on July 23rd at 2. Do not miss that webinar. It is going to be a treat. I'm going to get it back to Bill to go over some additional notes and get our winner on the tablet.
Okay, good stuff, Andrew. So we're just about done. We're not going to hold everyone after our 3 p.m. Eastern Time promised slot, so don't worry about that. Okay, real quick, the Bill Levinson Experience podcast is free. Every month we have a different guest speaker, some celebrities, some industry celebrities, some of the top sales coaches. Last month was Mary Reed, and she is the author of 3 best-selling books that all have to do with tax saving strategies, retirement planning. She is incredible, and I'm encouraging you all, you must listen to this 1-hour episode on your favorite podcast channel, YouTube for free, our website, whatever easier for you. Check it out. Leave a comment. You get one of her 3 free books, okay, on us, as long as you're contracted. So what I want to mention with Mary Reed is she's got a very, very interesting sales strategy for you all. And there's a ton of CPAs, estate planning attorneys that love the concept. We've sold a few monster cases since the podcast launch. It's very unique because she uses a product, a whole life actually, from the more conservative client. It's a whole life from Lafayette Life. And then she uses an IUL from LSW, from Life of the Southwest, for the more aggressive client that's willing to take a little more risk in the market. So a Lafayette Life whole life product and then an LSW IUL. They both also come with scholarship, but you got to check out this strategy. Well worth the time spent. Check it out when you get a chance. Okay, moving forward, along the lines of our Levinson Annuity Department, we have a fire sale going on right now, an extra 0.25 basis point bonus on equitable index products. Okay, so take advantage of this now, especially with all the fluctuation in the market. This is a great time to get in and have a guaranteed floor. It's like the old zero is your hero. Talk to Josh or Ashley and they will get you up to speed with the fire sale bonus going on this month only. Okay, fast forward by now. I hope everyone has the free Levinson and Associates mobile app, free download. You can run all of your case statuses. You can run quotes, use the e-app, drop ticket. Everything's at your fingertips. Symetra's on here. In fact, it's basically our entire website, but it's on your smartphone, and it's free. I hope you have it set up. Okay, our last slide of the day. Real quick, this is very simple. I'm going to ask the question first, and then I'm going to go to our Positive Tuesday quote. Today happens to be Tuesday, so I love that part. Okay, make sure your little fingers are on the keyboard and you're ready to answer the question of the day. We're going to announce the winner right now. So, whichever agent answers first incorrectly wins your choice gift card or fire tablet. The question is, I just mentioned the Bill Levinson Experience podcast and the latest episode with Mary Reed. So she uses 2 carriers in her sales strategy. What is the name of those 2 carriers? Whoever answers correctly and first wins the grand prize. Andrew, can we have a drum roll and a winner, please? The 2 carriers and the distribution solution sales strategy concept from Mary Reed on the last episode of the Bill Levinson Experience podcast. Andrew, do we have a winner?
Yep, we do. We have a winner. It is Lila. So Lila Y. Lila Y from Georgia is the first to answer.
Lila from Georgia, congratulations. The answer is Lafayette Life, Whole Life, and the LSW IUL are the 2 carriers that she uses for that strategy. We happen to have direct IMO contracts with both. And of course, don't forget about Symetra, especially in that foreign national market, and IUL. Let's end on our Positive Tuesday quote. Dreaming big on Positive Tuesday. Your dreams are the blueprint for your reality. Have an excellent rest of your Tuesday, a great week, good selling. Thank you again for attending. Everyone will receive the thank you email from today's webinar in your inbox by about 8 p.m. this evening. Take care and thanks again.